Hello, everybody. I hope you had a nice couple of weeks break from our Weed Up tasks. But it's now Tuesday. Well, it will be Tuesday. I'm recording it on Monday. Um, so it's time to get cracking with the calculation lesson. Um, and we've done lots on addition and subtraction for many weeks now to try and ensure that we're confident and secure, or as secure as we can be, with all of the different ways in which those kind of questions are presented. Which means it's been a while since we've done any multiplication. So we're gonna try and jog our memories, okay, with multiplication. Before we do, I'm going to talk about what it means again. So this word multiplication here is at the top, this long one, also linked to the word multiply. If you multiply a number, you are doing multiplication. We can also use the word times, which means the same thing. And we will inevitably see this sign here. This is the multiplication or the times sign. Okay, it just looks like an X. Okay, now in the past when we've done this, arrow's a little bit too big. I've told you to think about this sign as meaning groups of, and we're going to kind of continue in that style today as we jog our memories a little bit, because I think that's a really handy way of doing it and thinking about it. And we're also going to be counting in 2s, 5s and 10s, or practicing counting in 2s, 5s and 10s today. Again, another bit of jog of the memory, and also because they're really important skills to have in year 2, certainly moving up to year 3. Okay? And they'll help you arrive at the answers, of course. Okay? So, I've just done a video with the year 1s, and their questions are formatted something like this, where it would say 3 groups of 2. Okay, the questions tell you quite clearly what you need to do and potentially what you need to draw. You need three groups of 2 objects in each. Okay, now ours are slightly different in that we don't have the words, we just have the times sign, or the groups of sign, if you like. So your question, if we're thinking about counting in the 2s, the 2 times tables we call them, might look something like this, simply 7 times 2. And I know this is a bit of a jog of the memory, but I'm going to try and imagine as best I possibly can that I'm teaching someone who's completely forgot. So bear with me, okay? So 7 groups of 2, which essentially means 7 groups of 2. Because we think about that sign, the times sign, the multiply sign, as meaning groups of. Okay? So, I've encouraged you to draw in the past, which is perfect. Okay, so you at home, you might think, right, I know I've got 7 groups, so I'm going to start by drawing out my 7 groups first. And then I know I'm going to put 2 in each because it's 7 groups of 2. So I need 2 objects in each. And I need to make sure they're all equal, as we've discussed. So make sure there's 2 in each. And then I could work out my answer. Now the aim today is for you to practice not just counting these one by one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? Because that's the kind of thing we've done in the past. We want, when we're working out our times tables, our groups of questions, we really want to be thinking about the number in that question that we can count up in, if you like. Now, I've told you many times before, girls and boys, that I would not expect you to be counting in your 7s in year 2. It's not expected of any year 2s in the country to be counting in their 7s. So we focus on counting in our 2s. Our 2s, our 5s, and our 10s for these questions. We also have the 3s as well, which we're going to do a little bit on. Okay? And we have done some on before, just a long time ago. Okay? So think about which of those numbers in that question, and we have mentioned this before, which of those numbers can I count up in? Now, we know it's definitely 2s here. Okay? So, if I was doing that question, I would be thinking, right, I've got 2 in there. Add another 2. 4. 2. 4. Add another 2. 6. 2. 4. 6. Add another 2. 8. Starting to get the hang of it now. 2, 4, 6, 8. 10. Add another 2, 12. Add another 2, 14. Okay? So if you don't know 7 times 2 straight away off the top of your head, off by heart, the next best thing is to know that you are counting in your 2 times tables 7 times. So we're going 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. And drawing things out to help you is absolutely fine. I would never say no to that. And that's why I've got my socks here just to demonstrate it as well. I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Okay? And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 groups, which is what the question told us to do. Okay? So 7 times 2 equals 14. 7 groups of 2 would give us 14 socks altogether. Okay? Now, moving on, we're going to do similar things with the 5s and the 10s, and I've got my hands here to demonstrate the 5s, simply because there are 5 fingers on each hand, or 4 fingers and a thumb if you were being a bit more pedantic. So, we can do similar things. So, say the question was, let's say 6 times 5, that's the one I did with the year 1, so I'm going to do the same. 6 times 5, I know that means 6 groups of 5. So if I was, missed my 5 off there. If I was drawing something out, I know I've got 6 groups. And I know I need 5 objects in each. Do it a bit clearer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So, and then you could count up in your 5s. I'm going to demonstrate it with the hands as well, just because they're in a slightly better line for me to do it. So I've got 1 group of 5, 2 groups of 5, 3 groups of 5, 4 groups of 5, 5 groups of 5, 6 groups of 5. Now I know there are 5 fingers in each group, which is what we need. So I can count up in my 5s to work out the answer. Okay, you ready? 5. Add another 5 is 10. Add another 5, 15. Add another 5, 20. Add another 5, 25. Add another 5 is 30. We've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups of 5, which it tells us in the question. 6 times 5 equals 30. Okay, so there we go. And again, don't be afraid to draw things out if you feel you need to, and practice that counting up in that number, the relevant number, so 5 in this case. Okay, similarly for 10s, okay, I'd like to think you're starting to get the hang of it now. Okay, so we're counting up in 10s. Let's say you've got 4 times 10, or 4 groups of 10. Okay, so I've got my 10 blocks. I know in each kind of figure here there's 10 cubes. So I've got 1 group of 10, 2 groups of 10, 3 groups of 10, 4 groups of 10. So I know I'm going to be counting up in my 10s. Okay, and as I said to the ones, people often find counting in the 10s the easiest one. So wonder, might be the case for you, might not be, that's fine, either way. So we know we've got 10 to start with. Add another 10 is 20. Add another 10 is 30. Add another 10 is 40. 4 times 10 is 40. And my experience, the larks, our class, does tend to find the 10s the easiest as well. So fingers crossed you have a good go at those, okay? And I find it easiest because there's that link between the 4 and the 40. If it was 6 times 10, it would be 60. Because that's what happens when you multiply that number by 10. 4 times 10, 6 times 10, 8 times 10. You're multiplying it by 10. Okay, you've got 10 groups of it. Okay, so give those questions a good go. I think I'm going to put a couple of links to some games as well, so you can practice your quickfire counting up in 2s, 5s and 10s before or after those questions. Is completely up to you. Okay, and again, as I've said before, don't be afraid to draw things if you feel you need to, and practice that counting up in those numbers. That's a really essential skill. Okay, right, thanks everyone for listening.